This Radiohead song literally broke my brain. Then I figured out it was just 4/4, and I might even be more confused. I've been on a little bit of a Radiohead kick lately, and I've got a friend who's basically a Radiohead expert, and every time I come to him, I'm like, I've been checking this out, this is super cool. He's like, yeah? Well, check this out. And it always winds up being something that's either harmonically insane, rhythmically amazing, usually both. And this is no exception. Let's check this out. So already as I'm listening to this, I'm going, how am I supposed to feel this? Because at first you're like, maybe you might feel each chord. You might feel the chord as like a quarter note, in which case then you're instantly confused because by the third note, there has been some disruption in what you might have thought was the quarter note. Okay, well that's fine. So the next logical thought is, well, maybe these are dotted quarters, right? That's something, I'm very familiar with dotted quarters. And so then I start thinking, and immediately get confused because now the harmonic rhythm is throwing me off. So you're listening to this and you're thinking, I've got a grasp on it. And then 2 seconds later, you're like, no, I don't. I have no idea what's happening. Oh no, wait, there it is. I've got a grasp on it. And then no, I don't. I have no idea what's going on. And that's just kind of how the song goes. And when you break it down, there's some really, really interesting things that happen, not only rhythmically, but also harmonically. And then there might even be some deeper things going on that I feel like none of us would even think of if it weren't for random commenters on YouTube. We'll get to that in a second. Real quick, the Black Friday sale is about to drop. So I want you to pay attention for just 1 second because this is the one time a year we do something absolutely insane, and this year is the biggest thing I've ever done. I recently put out my brand new Better Piano System. It is the biggest project I have ever taken on, and it's everything that I have ever wanted to build and put into a singular program to help you learn how to play music. The whole point of this channel is to help demystify music and help you understand how all of your favorite music is built. And so the Better Piano System is my way of being like, let's now take it to the piano and start learning how to do this stuff for ourselves, because that is one of the greatest joys in life, is the ability to play music for yourself, to play music for your friends, for your family, and to play music with others. But because it's Black Friday, we gotta do something insane. So not only am I offering the entire Better Piano System at over 75% off, but we are doing 3 free bonuses this year when you purchase. Bonus number 1 is going to be part 1 of my Better Piano Improv System. It is an entire additional course complete with tons of instruction, exercise videos, downloadable backing tracks, all kinds of resources, and that is my Intro to Improvisation course. After you've put all of the basics into play and you've started learning how to play the piano, you've started learning about music theory, your next step is to learn how to play anything you want on the fly, and that is what the improv system is all about. Intro to Improv will take you from never having improvised before to having a working knowledge of what you're gonna do to tackle this thing, and to make you feel less afraid of trying it. But then we need to add some context. We need to add some more advanced things. What are we gonna do with that? And that is where the second free bonus comes into play, and that is part 2 of the Better Piano Improv System. Another full course. It is my Making Sense of Modes course, and it's all about how to take the modes of the major scale, what they are, what they're for, how to use them, and how to use them to improvise. That also has instruction, exercises, downloadable backing tracks, the whole gamut. But we're not done yet, because there's bonus number 3, and that is my ebook that I wrote, Jazz Piano Improv Volume 1. I wrote out 50 improvised choruses over 10 of the most famous jazz standards. And then I got together with my trio and recorded 40 backing tracks to go with it. The book is over 200 pages. It shows you the actual music, and then there's a full chapter on each one that breaks down some individual musical devices you're gonna see and why they're important, what to pay attention to, what to look for. This is basically everything that I have been building in all of my years studying the piano and doing YouTube. And you guys, it is how I support the work I do here on YouTube. It's how I support the channel. I've chosen not to take sponsors on this channel just because sometimes I don't see the point in promoting a company to you guys that neither of us really care about. So at a certain point I figured, wouldn't it make so much more sense if I built something that could be directly from me and be specifically made for you? And specifically to be useful, something you can not just like buy a shirt, but like buy something that now you can learn and have a lifelong project that you can work on forever. I mean, it's music is such a wonderful thing, and I'm so grateful that I get to share it with you here on the channel. And this bundle is hopefully a way that I can do that on a much deeper level. And I believe in making it incredibly affordable. And that's why it's under $100. It's $99. All the stuff that's included is over $600 normally priced. So it's an insane, it's like, I don't even know what the percentage is. It's over 80% off. And I like to do something crazy every Black Friday because hopefully it makes it make sense for you to pick something like this up and start your journey in music. And I would love nothing more than to be able to help you out with that. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check that link in the description. You might be seeing this video while it's already live, so be sure to use that link. It'll take you wherever you need to go, whether it's live yet or not. Thank you so much for your support. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Let's keep going. First thing I want to talk about are the chords that make up this song because they're absolutely incredible. Let's listen again. So even though I have no idea what's going on rhythmically, I've got no idea where we are, but these chords, I'm like, yeah, this is classic Radiohead. I jumped in the river, what did I see? And now when the melody comes in, and Tom York is singing this. Like an angel swam with me. And I'm like, well, this isn't helping at all because now there's rhythm going on in the melody that doesn't. But the whole time you're just mesmerized because it's so insanely beautiful. All the figures I used to see. And so now you start going, is it something like this? But no, because then it gets thrown off immediately. You can never get on one thing long enough to be like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. The whole time you're just kind of going, I've got glimpses of it, but then as soon as I get a glimpse of it, I feel like I've got a good feel for it, something changes and now I'm off again. Okay, so we said this song is in 4/4. It is. It's a little more complicated because I think that the divisions, how we're dividing up across the bar line, makes a difference, but you absolutely can write this and count this as 4/4, and this is what it looks like. First of all, let's just look at the chords that we're using here because they're incredibly beautiful. We're in F sharp major, and then we climb up a half step, and this is such a Radiohead sound. I mean, think about it. This is almost exactly the same thing. Not quite the same thing rhythmically, but harmonically. One chord, and then we go up a half step, and then up a whole step, and then we walk it back down. So this is honestly kind of difficult to play because you kind of have to like understand the feel in a different way than it actually sounds on the recording. Let me explain what I mean by that. Here's the secret. This is how this whole thing is in 4/4. We have two dotted quarters. 1, 2, and 3. And then on 4, we get a quarter note that is tied over the bar line to another quarter note. This is really important because by changing it to 2 quarter notes, we essentially are creating a half note. We're just writing it as 2 quarter notes tied because we're going over a bar line. But really it's like a half note. And a half note, the difference between a half note and a dotted quarter is 1/8 note. That's what makes this whole thing feel so weird because we're playing steady. Even as we hit that G major 7 chord, we're still not in, there's still no indication that something is off about it. It's until we hold it just too long that we go, okay, now I don't know where I am anymore, right? Yeah, so I think this is what also makes it really difficult. We're not going to continue that pattern exactly. Now we get 4 dotted quarters in a row before we get our next half note, which is, again, tied over a bar line. This is what I mean by like when things are extended over a bar line. It makes everything feel like, oh, wait a second, you sort of lose the downbeat, and that's totally the point, right? That's what makes it sound so mysterious, and that's what makes it break your brain, even though it's just 4/4, right? So when we play, the best way to do this, there's actually a way that I've kind of been thinking through that I think if you count, you really can get a hold of it and understand what it's supposed to be, at least the first two measures. But check this out. So if we go 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I don't know. It made sense in my brain. You just might be more confused. This brings me to my second point about why I think this is so confusing. It has to do with the harmonic rhythm. Now, what I mean by harmonic rhythm is just it's when the chord changes happen. I think part of what really makes this feel weird is like the A major 6 chord happening 3 times is a little bit like, okay, when are we going to change again? And then when we drop to the G, we have this, oh man. This is, I think, the toughest part because we have a dotted chord, and then we have that tied half note where it's 2 quarters tied across the bar line, and then another 2 dotted quarters, and that drops us on the 1 again. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oops. The fact that the G major happens on the second dotted quarter of the third measure, that I think is not helping anybody. I think that makes it uniquely difficult to count. Anyways, this is just like one of those figures that you kind of just have to feel. Now, a random commenter, Nath1999, says it's a group of 3, a group of 3, a group of 4, a group of 3, a group of 3, and a pyramid has 4 triangles, 3 sides, and 1 square on the bottom. 3, 3, 4 on the bottom, 3, 3. So 3, 3 all around, 3's all around, and a 4 on the bottom. I don't know if that's deliberate, but that is an insanely cool observation. Let's take a look at what that means. So if we are breaking up all of these into eighth notes, a dotted quarter accounts for 3 eighth notes. So we have 3, 3, and then each quarter note is 2, and we have 2 quarter notes tied together, so it's a total of 4. Like a half note would have 4. So we have 3, 3, 4, 3, 3, and then it repeats again. This is really only a 2-bar phrase that just repeats. Now, like I said, the harmonic rhythm is adding a level of complication, and part of that is because, listen to this if we just changed the harmony at the start of each of these 2 phrases, right? So we have the phrase in the first 2 bars that goes, that's phrase 1. Now, the second phrase is the exact same rhythm, but let's move the G major chord up 1 dotted quarter and see if this makes any more sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I think that totally transforms our ability to make sense of this, because then you're just thinking, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. New phrase, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. How could I make this ultra clear? Let me play a stupidly simple chord progression with that same rhythm, but I'm gonna put the chord change on the downbeat of the third bar, and it's gonna make so much more sense. Watch this. If the harmony is different, it no longer is that difficult. But because of the way where the chord changes are placed, throws everything off. Bang. If I just stopped it there, you'd have a way easier time listening to it. But because we continue the A6 chord on the first dotted quarter of the next phrase and then move to the G major 7, that throws everything off. it's the way these chord changes happen that throws everything off.
All my lovers were there with me. All my past and future.
We haven't even gotten this far, but like that just threw it off yet again. Because if we go to where the vocals come in, there are some slight changes, right? So the fact that we get that F minor, and now it kind of drops down to the E with the add 9, right? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Anytime that the chord change happens on the downbeat, I feel like this whole thing is a lot easier to hear. Yeah, and if you can learn to hear the melody line, that phrase, in 4, it really helps as well. 1, 2, ready, new phrase. 2, 3. Yeah, boy, right there too. That's another place where the harmony totally throws you off. Right there. Oh, that throws everything off, because right here we have the F sharp major chord come in a full 3 beats before the start of the next phrase. So it makes your brain think that like the phrase has started over already, because we've learned to think of this as like, oh, this is when the whole thing starts. We get this one chord, this pronounced major chord at the start of it. That's where it starts, but not here, because it starts at the end of the phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start. 2, 3, 4. See how weird that is? And in this part of the song, you have nothing to go on but the piano. And now the drums come in, and you think, oh, everything's going to be fixed now. I'm going to understand exactly where we are. No. Because the drums are playing right along with the syncopated figure. What a great groove. It almost feels like it should be like a swing 3/4 time. There are so many things that tell us that this is 3/4. And then nothing makes sense. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. See, and that we're not done yet, but that one chord comes back in. Then it turns minor, climbs its way back down to E, then up to G. Whoa. Honestly, it just continues like this. So there's not a thing in here that definitively tells you that it's in 4/4. You almost have to like derive that for yourself. There's just so many incredible things going on in here that just break your brain. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's just 4/4. Mind-blowing. I absolutely love this stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep talking about it every once in a while. So if there's something that you want to see from Radiohead, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks for tuning in to the month of music, and don't forget, Black Friday is about to drop, so stay tuned for that, and be sure to come back here or to a video tomorrow and get that link. So we'll see you over there. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.